500. Hi, everyone. It's Mitch from PickDawgz.com here with the Puck Dogs, Rod and Chris. And I'll tell you, we're just a couple minutes late. The company I used to stream to multiple channels, they raised their prices and didn't tell me. Instead, they just stopped our streaming. So we had to go back, re-register, and repay. And I'll tell you what, whenever anyone does that to us, we usually make them pay in the end. And I think that's what's going to happen here, because we know the Puck Dogs absolutely on fire this season, absolutely crushing it. Once again, apologize for being late. I should have taken care of this, but they didn't even send me a warning or a notice saying that I needed to do this until just now when we tried to go online. But anyways, oh man, this is what happens when you start destroying people on YouTube, which is exactly what we're doing here. We're taking names, and I'll tell you what, we are right now the number 2 streaming sports handicapping. I'm the originator, right? I'm the first guy that ever did free pick videos in sports handicapping space. Everybody saw the connection I made with the audience. They started doing it themselves, and then there's been some Johnny-come-latelys and have focused with these studio shows and things like that. We're gonna take things up a notch too, but I'll tell you what, you can't keep up with us. There's nobody that's been able to do it in the handicapping space in general on the internet, and there's nobody that's going to be able to do it on YouTube either, because let's just say we do it bigger, better, and we just try a lot harder than them. What makes a successful person in one industry more successful than somebody else in the same industry? Higher tolerance for pain. And that's really the difference, man. I don't sleep. So, guys, speaking of not sleeping, I don't know. A couple teams, the Bruins went to sleep last night. They never got off the bus in that thing. The Dallas Cowboys, I had the Chicago Bears as a premium pick, but still, I mean, this team is... Jason Garrett looked disgusted on the sideline last night. Is he disgusted with himself and his own game plan or with his team's execution? Because he certainly has some quality players on that team. When I watched the Dallas Cowboys game last night, I thought to myself, Toronto Maple Leafs, same situation where it's like you're statistically doing very, very well. You have a lot of good players, but you can't turn that into wins. I think it's a similar situation.
Pretty close.
We saw it with the Leafs do it. We've seen it in the past. It's kind of like they do all these little things, but they can't get wins. And, we saw a few years ago, and we'll have Steve Monahan, of course, later on today, talk with our Football Friday free-for-all. But we've seen this, in the past with the Dallas Cowboys. The year that the Dez Bryant catch or non-catch in Green Bay was a similar situation where the Cowboys were not playing well and made the playoffs, and Green Bay was a heavy favorite in that game. They count that as a catch for Dez, they probably win that game. And that's all it really takes, is to get to the tournament at the end. But I just don't know if the Cowboys, I think they make it because the Eagles are so bad. When you go into Miami and lose and give up 38 points to the Dolphins, is it any worse than going to the Soldier and getting, let Mitch Trubisky run all over you like he's Walter Payton or something? I'm not really sure. But what else did we see on the ice? So the Jets did not come through for us last night. They ended up fighting the good fight. Didn't get it done.
Made it to overtime, but then they took a bad penalty and lost it in overtime. There were a few games like that.
There's a few games like that. Not everything's going to always bounce your way. That's for sure. It's going to happen. It happens to everybody, and we never claim to win them all. That's for sure. But Chicago beating Boston, I thought, was one of the bigger upsets, and we like that. The Coyotes came through. The Hurricane over the Sharks. The Rangers over the Blue Jackets. The Stars over the Jets, that one went to overtime. And the Wild over Tampa Bay. So if you bet the Wild, that's why those dogs, they'll make up for more than enough for it. So we have, 5? We have 10 NBA. We've got a bunch of good college basketball tonight. We've got hockey. And we've got the first of the college football championship games as Oregon takes on Utah I'll start it out. We've been starting it out with the puck dogs. Maybe we'll mix it up a little bit today, and I'll be the lead-in for today's game. So yesterday I gave out the Nuggets as one of my premium picks, and they won by about 50 against the Knicks. I'm not so sure that happens again, but I think that one of the games that I really like is we have the Wizards on a back-to-back, and they're getting 9.5 points here against Miami. And Miami has just been a dominant team. The Wizards are 3-8 on the road, but 6-4 against the number. But listen to this. The Miami Heat are unbeaten at home, and they've just played two of the other unbeaten home teams. The Raptors, they beat one of them, and now the Raptors have lost 2 in a row at home. But then they played the Celtics and took it to overtime. But the Heat are not just 8-0 at home. They're also 8-0 against the number at home. 15-6. This is our flying under the radar team, but now we're starting to see the spread starting to increase a little bit as Washington getting 9.5. I still don't think the 9.5 is enough. I'm going to take the Heat to start this. I've been on the Heat all season. They're my Oakland A's this year for the NBA, at least so far in the early going. You know, over the years, we've had some great dogs of the day teams in the NBA. We rode the Sixers as they went through the process. We rode the Nets as they were, pretty much straight garbage. But I'll tell you, the Heat, this is like the Oakland A's. It's like a playoff team that you still get great value on, kind of how the Minnesota Twins were this season as well. So I'm going to start it off with the Heat, and I'll throw that in with the Minnesota Timberwolves getting 3 points here at the Thunder. I am not convinced on the Thunder. I know they're 6-5 at home. I know that they're 7-4 against the number at home. I know that they only win at home. You know, when you have 8 wins on the season and you're 6-5 at home, that means all of your wins except for 2 have come at home. The issue that they have here is they're playing against a Timberwolves team that hates to play at home. They only like to play on the road. They're 7-3 straight up, 7-3 against the number on the road, and they've been pretty dominant on the road. And this is a team that I think is a good team. You're getting the better team with points that play well on the road. I'm going to take the T-Wolves. Both these teams, ironically, came into the NBA the same year. So it's kind of like going with the Blue Jays and Mariners. We'll go with the Timberwolves and the Heat to start it all off. Guys, how would you like to do it? You want to run through hockey, or you have other picks you want to start with before we do NHL? Or you guys tell me. It is kind of a free-for-all Friday format. Maybe we should go to some questions. It's up to you guys. We're going to do both. We're going to do picks and questions. So
I'm good with whichever. Let's run through the schedule.
So here we have, hold on, before we get started, we have an asshole, and I want to call him out. Let's be honest. Here's a guy, right? We've never heard from this guy before, right? Okay, so I was 2-1 in the premium area. I'll be honest, okay? I love the let's be honest. I love when they lead in with that, right? So the let's be honest. Let's be honest, okay? I was 2-1 in the premium area. I had the Nuggets and the Bears, and I lost on the Raptors. Okay, so let's be honest. Okay, that's where I say my best bets go are in the premium area, right? Do I not say that? I don't know, 100 times a day when people ask me what my best bets are with that. So let's be honest. Okay, I love the let's be honest. It's like, is there more pathetic way to start a question, more condescending, way to start a question than that? So Josh, let's be honest, okay? Let's really be honest here, and let's just say that I was 2-1 in the premium area. So if you had a lot of losses, that was your bets, not mine. So we're gonna be honest here, okay? Just Rod, Chris, be honest, okay?
I'll do my best. I cannot tell a lie.
You guys are charging a lot of money for your free picks, okay? A lot of money for your time and for your effort that you're putting in. You guys are really putting people out. Let's be honest here. What a jerk. What a Jerk. Instead of Joshua, it should just stop at Jerk. There. All right. Good morning, everybody.
I was waiting for the jerk chance.
It could be jerk.
Okay,
Let's be honest. Yeah, I mean, not we said not the best day. We know that, it happens. But I gave out tons of winners. It's like I've had days where these guys have picked every winner. I've lose. It's like it is what it is, man. But it's okay to say that you had some losses, but you've never once said that we've had wins. It's like, so who in the hell do you think you are? Who are you? Exactly, right? Who are you? I think that's the question. It's like, because we've never heard you say, great job, guys. Thank you for your time. So you don't have the right to say, not talking trash, just saying you guys lost and you suck. It's like, that's the other one I love. It's like, not talking trash, just saying you suck, in public. Okay. Chris, who you like tonight? We got the Devils and the Blackhawks. The Blackhawks coming off that win in Boston. Can they do it back-to-back nights? The Devils minus 140 here. Blackwood in the net. Devils 9-14. The Hawks, I mean, it's kind of like we've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly from the Hawks this season. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you have to imagine that Chicago's feeling some confidence after winning that game. Granted, Boston came back from, I think, 3 down to force overtime, but New Jersey's not the most imposing team to face on a back-to-back, and we've already talked about the implosion that's going on with the Devils right now. It looks like everybody's up for sale on that team. There's no one really off limits, and their asking price, apparently, from what I'm hearing, is very low. So, I mean, there's something going on there. It's either Chicago at plus 125 or pass for me.
How about you, Rod?
Pretty much same thing for me. This Jersey team is in deep trouble. They have okay defensemen, but in net they are really hurting. They have no goalie. Right? You put Blackwood in, he gives up a pile of goals. You pull Dominguez in, he gives up a pile of goals. So
not to trash talk the New Jersey goaltending, but they suck.
But let's be honest.
I'm not trash talking you guys. It's like, but you suck. I don't want to say anything, Mitch, but you put on a couple pounds lately. It's like.
But it's that time of year. We're allowed to.
I have. You know what? I'm not apologizing for it.
We're up here in Canada. It's cold.
I'm eating those Reese's peanut butter trees, eggs, whatever you call them, on a regular basis.
We're sending you Christmas cookies in a couple weeks too.
That's fine. Anyways,
so for me, I think the Blackhawks can come in here, and I think they can roll Jersey. Actually, I'm gonna take a shot with the Blackhawks minus 1.5 plus 335.
Wow. Puck line, it's plus 335. Okay, we got Montreal visiting the Rangers. This one looks like pretty close to a pick-em. Chris's boy Lundqvist back in the goal. The Canadiens absolutely hideous on the road. I mean, this is a bad road team. But about, a pick-em, like I said. Rod, we missing anything here?
I'm looking at this and I'm going Montreal. They're 1-9 in their last 10, 1-4 their last 5 on the road. They're 8-22 their last 30 on 0 days rest. It's Rangers or nothing for me here, and I'm going to take Rangers money line.
Yeah, not to trash Montreal's road record or anything.
No,
but they're 1-9.
But they're 1-9. Yeah.
I love that. Not to be disrespectful, but you really suck. It's like, I've been doing this for a long time, so I've seen that comment about 1,000,000 times. It's like, then if you're not being disrespectful, if you don't mean trash, then why say it? Then say it. And it's like, do I go to your job and say, I didn't want to say anything, but just a blotch too much mustard on my cheeseburger. Just a skosh. Chris, what do we got next here?
Well, I'm on the same boat as Rod. I think you have to go with the Rangers here. Montreal got back to losing ways last night. I thought they were going to be able to carry over against Colorado on a back-to-back. I'm just not sure why the line is where it is, especially with Montreal on the road and the Rangers at home where they do their best work. So yeah, I like Rangers minus 110. I'll also play them in regulation at plus 145.
Oh man.
Well, in Montreal yesterday, they started a rookie. They started Primo. If you know Keith Primo, this is his kid.
Wow.
Started in.
Which makes me old. Which makes me.
He started in net for Montreal last night, and he played a half decent game. Got him to hang in there for sure.
Did he punch anybody?
No.
No, but Mrazek got punched pretty good, I think.
Mrazek got KO'd. He got punched. Well, then he was old man Thornton just popped him. Boom! Right? Well, he slashed him with the goalie stick. And
yeah, but then see, it's one thing to slash him, but it's another thing to go chasing him behind the net.
Oh yeah, and then old man Thornton was like, "No, I'm not having this." Boom!
He dropped him. Granted, it was one of those really. It looked like he got shot.
Yeah. I think he might have tried to sell it a little bit. Maybe I can get some penalty.
That is the NHL. That's at least that's my NHL. I know it's a lot different now. It's like now it's light contact NHL. You know, ever since they went to helmets. How about when they first changed the helmets? Remember when they first changed the helmets? It was like some guys wore helmets and other guys didn't wear helmets. That was like
they didn't make you wear helmets. It wasn't like you have to wear a helmet.
If you came from the era where you didn't have to wear a helmet, you were grandfathered in that you didn't have to wear a helmet. And there was a few guys that did not wear, like all the way. By the end, there was like two or three guys that didn't wear a helmet in the whole league.
Yeah,
but helmets are relatively new. I mean,
and then you went from helmets to those face guards.
When they first went to helmets and they didn't have the face guards, I asked like hockey people at the time. I was living in Boston, and I asked people, why don't they go to the face guard? And they said, because if one guy wore that and nobody else was wearing it, he would get beat up just instantly. Like the second he flipped over the board, like they didn't even have to drop the puck. The second he jumped over the board to get he would get pummeled. That's what they said would happen.
And I still wear full
Michigan hosting Iowa in a pretty decent night of college hoops. We have not a big schedule, but man, there's some quality out there. Michigan coming off of that loss to Louisville. Iowa has actually turned it on a little bit, absolutely crushing Syracuse last time out. I'm not surprised by that. But what scares me a little bit about Iowa here is that, and why I've kind of not jumping on them, is they lost to San Diego State by 10 points, and that was a road game. But they also, they lost to DePaul, who we've been on, pretty much. So when they've been called upon in these step-up games, they've done okay. They've played a pretty good schedule. Texas Tech, they played, Syracuse. But Michigan, when we look at their schedule, I think you can forgive that loss to Louisville. I had Michigan in that game. Sucker, right? Sucker. I was a sucker. I got publicked into it, however you want to call it. But I don't think that that's a real indication of, fine, they lost to Louisville. Louisville's the number one team in the country right now, and I think they look like the number one team in the country. I'm not saying that means Louisville's going to win the national championship. I think in college basketball these days, there always seems to be 6 teams that could do it, or even 10. Who picked Texas Tech to go to the final last year? I mean, who picked even Virginia to win the bracket last year after going out in the first round the year before? The thing is that when Michigan, they had the wins over North Carolina, and it was a dominating win over Gonzaga. And then you're still on the road. I mean, those counted as home games, but they weren't home. Those were neutral site games. And then you're on the road again at Louisville. You haven't played a home game in an awful long time. You beat Iowa State. You beat North Carolina. You beat Gonzaga. You're still on the road, It's like you haven't been home since November 22nd. It's, the calendar flies at this time of year, but it's already December 6th. We're talking 2 weeks, more than 2 weeks. And Michigan gets back home here, and I think this is the first time that their home crowd has seen them really play a quality opponent since the Creighton game, which they absolutely slaughtered Creighton too. Throw that in the mix. I think they just take care of business here against Iowa, and I think that as much as Michigan might have been a sucker bet at Louisville, I think that Iowa might be a sucker bet here at Michigan. I'm gonna take the home team, even though the line is dropping. I'm gonna take Michigan here. I think that they're that good, and I think coming back home with all that confidence of those big wins underneath their belt, I think the Sharps are wrong here. The Sharps are, on Iowa, and I think they're dead wrong. I think they're going to get slammed. So I'm going to take Michigan, and then in the other big game, Virginia Tech +7 at home against Duke. All of the money here is on Duke after that big win over Michigan State, but you have to remember Virginia Tech beat Michigan State also. They lost to BYU, and they lost to BYU, and they lost to Dayton, who kind of isn't on the board recently, since that Maui tournament. But we saw them in Maui, and they're going to be a contender. They're an Elite 8 team playing as is, if not a Final Four team. They have NBA talent on that team. But one thing that I like about Virginia Tech, and especially here at home, is they can toss in the three like no one's business. And in order to beat a team like Duke, you got to be a front runner. You're not going to come from 20 down and beat Duke at home on the road, neutral site. It doesn't work that way. You need to hang with them and have the lead. And I think if you can get hot, like they did against Michigan State with the threes, which they do, I think they can get a lead on Duke and at the very least hold on for dear life and get an outright win, or minimum cover this 7 points. I'm going to take Virginia Tech against Duke plus the points, and what I'm going to guess is not a popular pick today because we know how those parlay players play it in the Pick Dawgz Facebook group. Duke money line.
Minus 520.
Right, exactly. Here's my winning ticket from yesterday. Minus 2,200 on, what was the team that you had? Wichita State, right? Minus 2,200, minus 2,700 on Wichita State. I won. I just want to show everybody I won. It's like yeah.
It's like you pull out an 8-game parlay ticket.
Yeah.
Wager $10 to win 5.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I know. I teased them up. It's like, I love that one. They were minus 23.5.
I teased them down to plus
down to
minus
17.5.
Yeah.
I teased it down to minus 5.
Yeah, I mean, when you get into those big point spreads like that, when you're down at a 3-point spread or something, it's very hard to move the line. But at 24.5, it actually isn't that hard. Oh man, back to the ice for you guys, or you guys want to do an NBA or college football pick? Chris, it's up to you.
I'll go back to the ice. Arizona at Pittsburgh. Everybody who's watched this knows my love for Arizona this year. I get they're on a back-to-back, and Pittsburgh's a tough out at home. But Arizona just keeps rolling along. They're 10-3, 2-1 on the road, 13-3 on the road on the puck line, 4-1 on the puck line on the second half of a back-to-back. Arizona just reached the top of the Pacific Division for the first time since, I think, October 2015. I think that's enough motivation for them to at least to put forth a good effort here. I'm going to take a shot at Arizona at plus 160.
Arizona plus what?
160.
Yeah, that's what I see him at. I thought you said 116. I was like, I'm getting way better odds than that. I'm going to jump on it. How about you, Rod, in this one? Arizona versus Pittsburgh, the Penguins.
For me, I'm not going to take a side here. I like the over 5.5. I think we're going to see some goals here. I don't think Kemper's going to start. I think they'll have Renata in net, and I don't like him in net. I think we're going to see some goals. I don't. Penguins are notorious for scoring some goals. If the Coyotes want to keep up today, they better score some goals. I don't see the Coyotes winning this game 2-1. And Penguins just have way more depth, so I lean Penguins to win this game.
So lean to the Pens.
Lean to the Pens. I like the over.
All right. I ordered some of those fancy cards like I used to use on the show. All mine had the old brand name on it, but I ordered a stack of them. So instead of hunting around for pieces of paper. The good cardboard ones like we used to have.
Right. The ones you can toss.
It's raining here in Maui. I might actually get to golf after all. All right, let's take a look. Chicago State versus Tennessee State here on the free-for-all. Chicago State is absolutely terrible. They're always like the opponent, you know, in these scenarios. But they're actually 4-6 on the season. Let's dig a little deeper into this 4 and see exactly who Chicago State is rolling up the record on. Let's see, they lost to Florida State by 60, 113-56. So they lost to Jacksonville State by 9. They lost to Alabama State by 13 points.
That was the only game I remember playing for Chicago State, was that Alabama State game, and I got that wrong.
So here's who they beat. NPU. I don't even know who that is. PNL. They lost to Purdue by 50. And they lost to Eastern Illinois 98-34. Not competitive. Tennessee State lost. They beat North Florida, a team that we like. They beat Cal Poly. They lost to San Diego State. No shame there. They lost to Texas Tech. They beat Fisk. They beat Lipscomb. They lost to Chattanooga. They beat Alabama A&M. Yeah, I think Tennessee State absolutely crushes here. I think Tennessee State in a romp. I think you could lay that minus 20.5 in the first half, to be honest with you. Roll right along. Over under 151 in the Chicago State, Tennessee State. A lot of interest in this one. I'm going to go under because I could see Tennessee State. I could see this one being 93-50, you know, and that's under 151. Let's see if we get another one. Celtics, Nuggets, over under 204.5. The Nuggets on the back-to-back. The Boston Celtics still unbeaten at home this season. I expect a defensive war in this one. I'm going to go under. You guys have any opinion here, Chris?
Yeah, I like the under as well.
Right. I would go under as well.
Keep rolling. Puck Dawgz saved Christmas this year. Who's laying the hammer tonight? I'm laying the hammer. Yep. Tino wants his money back from your free picks.
I'll write you a check.
War Eagle, Auburn. They squeak it out in overtime last night as we cover with the dog of the day. Renee Velasquez with a little short story for us here. Just need one winner tonight. Just need one winner. Please hit the thumbs up. Boy, this Chicago-Tennessee State game, a lot of interest.
Well, it's a morning game. People are jumping on it, that's why.
You called that trap game last night, too. I don't know which game I did that on, but I'm sure I did. Hit the thumbs up to help out the YouTube. Absolutely. Yeah, it's Team A versus Team B with the point spread. I'm just beside myself, man. I think from now on, if it's not Team A versus Team B versus the point spread, I'm just going to scroll past it. I'm not even going to say a word. And people are going to say, how come you didn't answer my question? Here, Derek, thank you. It's like, I don't know, man. I think if you're new, I could let it go. But it's like, we know you're not new. Michigan, Iowa over under 144. I like the under that one too. How about you guys? Actually, you know what? I like over. I don't love this one. Rod, anything on Michigan, Iowa over under 144?
I like the over.
How about you, Chris?
I think it's gonna be close to that number. You know, just for the sake, I'll go under.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be close too. it's one of those games that if it's 28-24 at halftime, no one's surprised. If it's 48-44 at halftime, no one is surprised. It's just one of those games. It could easily go either way because we've seen both teams play games that have gone both ways this season. But generally, Iowa's been a little bit to the high-scoring side. Take it back to the ice, and we've got the LA Kings visiting Edmonton. Edmonton, I don't know, man. 5-4-1 in the last 10. LA 4-5-1. But the Kings dreadful on the road. Don't mean to trash anyone, but they've been. But don't mean to trash anyone, but they really stink on the road.
We're just being honest.
Let's be honest. No, actually, I just get up here and lie through my teeth. I think one thing that no one's ever said about me is that I was dishonest or that I was I think people might have said that, but I think then those are people that don't know me, because most people will say the opposite. They'll say that I'm honest to the point where it scares most people, because I'll say things that no one should say. You know, it's like I just, that's how I am. It's like, it's easier for me to be honest. And I do have a really, really good memory, as you guys see on our football shows with Steve Monahan. We talk about like place kickers from 1971, but it's like, it's just easier to be honest, because this way you don't have to remember what you lied about. It's like, just stick to the truth, and it's like there's no reason. But let's see. So the Kings in the Edmonton, Smith and Quick. Anything? Any chance here for the Kings, Chris?
Yeah, I'm not trying to pick a side here. I'm going to go to the total. I'm going to go under 6. Even with the goaltending sort of screaming maybe over, LA scored 2 goals or less in their last 9 road games. And I'm not trying to side with Edmonton at home. They put up a clunker against Ottawa last time out. And they've lost their last 3 road games, or home games, sorry. I think they just try to take a cautious approach here. It's going to be a physical, tight game. I see it being 3-2. I think it's going to go to the under.
How about you, Rod?
The Oilers have done me wrong a few games so far. But for some reason, the Oilers this year against mediocre teams just have not showed up. I don't know what it is. They just play down to to the bad teams and end up losing. Look at them against Ottawa. There's no way they should have lost that game. But I can't take the Kings and Quick on the road. They gave Quick a tryout and figured he'd have a better year this year. He's putting up the same numbers he was putting up last year. He's got the worst goals against average in the NHL this year. The worst. So, yeah, plug your ears. So for me, but the Oilers got embarrassed the other night. I'll take a shot here with the Oilers again, but on the 3-way. I don't see them winning by no puck line or double puck line, or just the Oilers on the 3-way.
Well, I have a premium pick on this game, but how about you guys? Anything on tonight's Pac-12 Championship game, Utah versus Oregon? I put a premium on it.
Yeah, I love Utah here. I just think that Oregon's starting to run out of gas. I just like the way Utah's played on both sides of the ball. I like Utah laying the points.
I've been like this way and that way. It's like the Ducks have nothing to play for, but a spoiler thingy. I think I got to take the Ducks. Utah's got so much pressure on them, but they're so good. That's the thing. I'm going to go like this. Here's the penny. I'm going to go heads for Utah, tails for the Ducks.
Wait a sec. We're in Canada. How did you still get a penny? We got rid of those.
Tails. So Ducks it is.
I think you can make a case either way in this game, but I gave it out as a premium pick. I mean, that's what the premium subscribers want from me. So it's like I got to get in that. It's what they pay for, and it's kind of what's keeping us afloat these days. But anyways, certainly not our good looks. Anyways,
Speak for yourself.
keep rolling right along here. Let's see. Idaho State versus Pepperdine, -14. Pepperdine is always an interesting story. It was, of course, the host campus to the Battle of the Network Stars back in the 70s. For those of you that ever watched that show. But Idaho State is generally a team that's not as bad as they appear on paper. You know, it's like when they get on the court, they're actually pretty good, usually. Scored 102 last time out against WCB, but unfortunately I don't know who that is, but they lost to Washington State by 11. Most of their wins here are against the bad teams. They actually did beat Air Force by 10 this season too. I think you got to go with Idaho State here getting the points. I think it's just too many. I know Pepperdine lost to Providence last time out. They lost to UCF. They lost to Arizona. Cal State, Upstate. They've lost 5 in a row. USC. Yeah, I'm going to take the points here with Idaho State, the Bengals. I've never done an Idaho State video. Maybe it's time. You know, or just pick it out and just do that YouTube video and you see it the next day on the channel. 67 views. Idaho State.
Yeah, I'm on board with that one as well. Idaho State's covered their last 3 games as a double-digit underdog, and they've actually played well. It's not like they're not playing slugs. They're playing Santa Clara. They're playing Washington State. I like the points here too.
They're 5-0 against the spread as an underdog. Idaho State, the last 5. So I got to go with them.
Yeah, nothing wrong. Idaho State. This could be one of our teams. You know, I mean, looking at this. This could easily be one of our teams this year.
The only thing that kind of turns me off is a 54-40 loss to Wyoming. But
I like this over in the Orlando versus Cleveland game. We got 2 lousy teams here. Lousy. But I'll tell you who's really lousy are the Cleveland Cavaliers. I really thought that this team was gonna kind of pick it up and do something. It looked like they had like a 3-game stretch where they were starting to look like an actual NBA team, and since then, when I took notice, they just went right down the tube, 1-9 in their last 10 games. And I always say, teams that are bad usually are the teams that play no defense. I'm going to take the over 212 in this one. You guys have any opinion here? Cavs Magic.
I'll go ahead.
I like the over as well. I think we're just going to see run and gun up and down the field, up and down the court. I think we're going to go over. There's no defense here.
All right, we got one NHL game left. We got just a few minutes because of our late start. Got the Ducks at home plus 130 against the Capitals minus 145. Caps still rolling 21-4. I know my friends that are Bruin fans and Blues fans argue every night on our text feed, but it's the Capitals that are really in control here. And 21-4, 3-2. They look better than the team that won the Stanley Cup a couple years ago. They do. At least, you know, it's December 6th. I mean, let's be fair. Let's be honest, you know.
Yeah.
Don't want to trash the, you know, they won the Stanley Cup 2 years ago, and you know they're not as good as, you know. It's like, let's trash the team that won it all. Okay, it's like they won it all, but they won't really, you know. I don't want to trash them or anything, but it's like, why even say the word trash? You know, it's like, oh man. What do you guys think? Rod, Caps all day?
Caps all day. There's no way. Capitals are 5-0 in their last 5 games. So I don't see any
too. There's murder.
They've been doing me right. I'm going to go with the Washington Capitals minus 1.5.
Yeah, I'm not a front runner type guy, but I'm on the Caps. You know, like this right now. It's like I'm not a type of guy that jumps on the bandwagon. I'm normally trying to find a way to beat these guys, and say, oh, even the best baseball teams lose 60 times a year. I'm that guy. But this is something different. This is like a Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan, Dennis Rodman team. These guys are this is a truck. You got to either jump on board or get out of the way. This is
they're all business. They're
business.
They want a cup. They're all business.
Cup, so they know what it takes.
Yeah. And last year they didn't. I think they partied a little too hard after winning the cup.
It's typical. It's
swimming in a fountain. He broke the cup. I think they broke the Stanley Cup. They partied so hard.
I guess they say every year when the cup gets returned, it just needs a total overhaul. Every year.
They broke the top right off the cup.
Someone threw it in a lake once, right? Wasn't that a famous story in Canada? Someone threw it over the bridge.
Over the bridge into the lake?
Something like that.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, and they had to send divers in to get it out. So
there's a guy who polishes the cup. That's his job. He's the security guard of the cup. He goes around and travels wherever the cup goes. He goes.
How about you, Chris? What are you thinking in this one, Caps or?
You love a good front runner. I was thinking, I was considering Anaheim because the line kind of looked weird to me. But you know what? Anaheim's lost 10 of their last 13. Washington's won 5 straight. I can't go against Washington here. And they play them in regulation minus 105, and go with Rod on the puck line at plus 160. I'm even going to go up to minus 2.5 and plus 265.
Yeah, I like it. I'm with you on that one. I just think that the Caps are looking very, very tough. And, I don't usually like these front-running teams, but I'm going to take them there. So we got one last question, and then we'll recap and do our parlays and all that kind of good stuff. Mitch, you stopped the Vegas trips. I used to go every week. Yeah, I haven't been to Vegas since I was there at the end of August, and the last time I actually had a Vegas trip where I hung out was in May, and that's because I had a condo there, with Craig that we split. I'm still paying for it. Craig goes there and eats apparently $1,800 worth of meals in a couple of days, that I'm paying for. But that I see on my statements every month that I'm still paying because I own the company. There's nothing I can do about it. Well, there's going to be something I do about it, but that's why I don't go, because I don't want to stay at the place with Craig because I don't like him. So that's why I don't go. And I can't say anything else about that because these guys, anytime I say anything about them, they threaten to sue me because I've defamed them, and they believe that the only reason that my site is successful is because I trash them. The only reason that Pick Dawgz is successful, the only reason you tune into our show as opposed to their crappy show is because I trash them. This is what they've told their lawyer. I have a letter to prove it. Ridiculous. Anyways, that's why I don't go. I don't go because I hate Craig. Is that defaming? I'm not really sure. It's my personal opinion. I hate his guts. He might dislike me. I hate him. Anyways, Rod, you got a parlay for us or anything? Any other picks that we missed?
For me, I got another pick I like today. I like the Indiana Pacers. They are 4-0 their last 4-0 on the road. I like the Pacers here to win in Detroit.
Detroit is a pretty good home team, but the Pacers have been really, really strong. They've been rolling lately. Chris, you got anything else to add?
Yeah, there's three college games I'm going to play today. I'm going to take Stephen F. Austin against Alabama plus 10.5, North Dakota at Montana plus 6, and I'm also going to put a little bit on CSU Northridge plus 7 at Portland State.
Any parlay for us? Everyone loves a parlay.
Yeah. Nothing that I like enough to put it out.
For me, I'm taking Washington on the puck line, Blackhawks on the puck line. 2-teamer, plus 980.
Who is it?
Okay.
Blackhawks and who?
Blackhawks on the puck line, Washington on the puck line.
I like it.
2-teamers, plus 980.
You know what? I'll hop on that. I'll put a little on that too. I like that.
I'll go Heat, Michigan, Virginia Tech, 3-teamer.
You know what? I'll do one. Okay, I'll do Chicago money line.
It's like, all right, you talked me into it. It's like, I'll do it.
I'll do Chicago. Peer pressure. I don't handle it well. Chicago plus 125, Arizona plus 160, and Washington minus 1.5 at plus 160.
All right. So we have 108 people watching us on YouTube. We got 41 thumbs up. If you guys could just hit the thumbs up. We got 2 thumbs down. Maybe that was someone that I said I hate doing that. Todd reminds us, and I say the same thing, man. I say the same thing. That if you say the truth, how could it possibly be defamation? You know, I say this exact same thing. It's the truth. If you say that I don't know. I'm not going to say that somebody actually did this, but if you have an account, right, that has your name on it, and somebody goes in there and you gave them access to your account because they needed to change a setting. If they go into that same account using that information and remove something from that account and take it into their possession, is that stealing or is it not stealing? I don't know. It's like my neighbor. I gave him the passcode to my security system to, because he needed to let somebody in when I was out of town. The guy who fixes the air conditioners. If he takes my watch, is that stealing? I think so.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I think it is. I do know, and it is. But anyways, so here's how you hit the thumbs up if you're watching on a phone. So here's the chat. There's a little X right here. You just X out the chat really quick. You hit the thumbs up. It's right there. You can see it. You just hit the thumbs up. And then it says right here, once again, live chat. You hit it, and it goes right back up. So that's how you hit the thumbs up. Greatly appreciate it. Costs you nothing. Anyways, let's go to the recap. Rod likes the Blackhawks on the puck line, plus 335. Hey, I don't mean to trash, but if you have 3.5 losers, that one win would cover them all. That's the beauty of that bet, and your risk is 1 unit. For that. That's how you win money in betting. Risking 1 unit to make 3.5 times your money. If you lose, you lost the unit. If you win, you're covered on a couple of bad picks. Rangers over on the Pens, Arizona. Also a lean to the Pens. Under Michigan, Iowa. Oilers, Oregon, Idaho State. The Capitals. Blackhawks puck line. Washington puck line is the parlay. Chris, Blackhawks, Rangers, Arizona. Under in the Celtics game. Under in the Michigan game against Iowa. Under 6, Edmonton, LA. Utah in the football game. Idaho State. Stephen F. Austin, North Dakota, and Cal State Northridge. Of course, Stephen F. Austin is, those of you that are still watching, my dog of the day today. Anyways, he also has the parlay. Blackhawks, Coyotes, Washington Capitals. You know what? I have a parlay also. I'm going to throw the Capitals in there and make it a 4-teamer, so we're all on Capitals. Heat, Timberwolves, Michigan, Virginia Tech. I like Virginia Tech. I almost made them a premium pick. Tennessee State against Chicago State. Why not, right? I think Chicago State comes out of the locker room. They're already trailing by 40 in most games. Under in the Celtics game. Over Michigan, Iowa. Idaho State, which we all liked in that one too. Over in the Cavs Magic. I gave out a 3-team parlay, but we're making it a 4-team parlay. The Heat, Michigan, Virginia Tech, Capitals. That's our show. Thanks everyone for joining us. Be sure to hit the thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. I'll be back today at 4 p.m. Eastern for Football Free for All with Steve Monahan. We'll go over all of your questions. And, of course, tomorrow I'll be back with are you guys coming back tomorrow? Got anything to do? Got anything better to do? All right, so I'll see you guys tomorrow, too. I'll be back with the Puck Dogs. Maybe Steve will join us tomorrow morning as well. We'll do the Brady Bunch. Anyways, have a great day, everyone. I'll see you guys in a few hours. And, of course, also halftime of the Oregon-Utah Pac-12 Championship game. Have a good day. It sounds like it stopped raining. I might go play some soggy golf.